funniest misconception that people have had about your job?
That I am friends with all the bank managers.
Are you not?
Yes. No, you know what? We are just intermediaries between the bank and you, and we are aware of many credit policies that the banks may have, whatnot. But I actually don't physically know the person working on the bank. I mean, on the bond, but I can motivate things because we have built a relationship with the bankers and with the team who work on home loans. But I have no way of actually drawing the last line and saying yes or no. I'd love to be able to do that. And I do have relationships where I can approach them and say, there's space for motivation here. Let's look at this again, whatever, and yes, to an extent, but I don't know the bank manager.
Karen, what would you say for real estate agents? What do you think
It's
is...
misconception
Yes.
that we've got an easy job.
But you do.
It's not easy.
That we make packets of money
You just
doing
sell all
nothing.
these homes and make lots of money, and you've got the easiest clients.
You know what? People think we just pitch up at showings and then we sign the deal.
And point where the kitchen is.
And with the toilets.
That's not even a speck of what we do. No, it's
Never mind the
we
regulations.
still love
and
what we do.
Yeah, there's so much in the background that people don't. Never mind the marketing. I mean, you have to be, especially now with social media and stuff. And I see you are on it. I mean, I think you've got a button that just presses share. Even while you're sleeping, it's just going share. Yeah, but it's a big. That alone is a job.
Yes.
It is. Then also managing your clients' expectations is a job.
Yes.
I know that.
Yes.
You know, that's a whole.
There's quite a few similarities as
You
well.
get your
Hey?
seller who's this type of person, and you get your buyer who's this type of person, and then you also in between. So you like the psychologist as well.
That's very
And
true.
you just
That's
go
very
from
true.
between these two completely different people who happen to like the same house.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very strange.
It's matchmaking in a big way.
Just a question which I think is quite relevant is that what would you say? I know we've touched on what your function is as a bond originator, but would you say that a big strength or one of the main characteristics that you guys should have, or you should have as a bond originator, is that you need to know exactly what the banks are looking for to be able to motivate and know when you can motivate and what you can motivate in addition to what you've already got,
Yes.
and how to extract that information from your clients.
So the best example is with my bond application, and this was even before I was actively doing this. Is the bank had picked up a school fees off my account, but had not realised that by the next year I had swapped it over to James's account. And my husband earns a lot more than me. So what happened was we were not getting this bond, and I just said to the mortgage originator, but I want to see what is the bank seeing, because I've got about a 5,000 rand difference. They're saying my surplus is 700 rand or something, and I said, but it doesn't make sense. And she went and got it from the bank and put it out to me, and I picked it up. I said, there's school fees. I said, why are they? Because it was on your bank account 3 months ago. I said, yes, but this is now February, it's now on my husband's account. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So also, that's where your bond originator can't just leave things
Yes.
where the bank find them. You need to listen to your client. If there are clients who are going to want to get a bond and they have no surplus, I'm not very few and far between, but clients, if they really believe that they can get a bond, listen to them. Listen and say to them, right, where are you seeing the surplus funds? And I'm going to get it from the bank. Don't just say the Standard Bank, I'm not giving it to you. You can't do that. You have to ask the bank, what are you seeing that the client's not seeing? And let's put it together and let's work it out nicely. Prime example, it ended up I had like 7,000 rand surplus because they picked up things that I had actually stopped paying, and it wasn't on my credit report because those are non-negotiables. Remember, if it's on your credit report, it's a non-negotiable.
Okay.
But they do go through your account and look at debits that are monthly, like your school fees, and they take it into account in their finance because it wasn't on my form, but they went and picked it up and put it in there.
And that is assumed.
Wow.
You see?
I assumed,
Yes.
yeah.
So again, you have to be a little bit pushy and say, guys, there's a break in communication somewhere, and you are the one in between, and the client's screaming, why, I have this, the money is there.
But it's good that you, from your own experience, that happened to you, because it's always going to stick with you.
Yes,
and
now
yes.
I'm more inclined to look at that when a client urges me to say, I promise you now, they've seen something wrong. You have to be, you are the intermediary, and you have to be able to go from between the client and the bank in a nice way and say, guys, what's going on here? How can we make this work? And unfortunately, we have to do it with all the banks against each other.
You've got a big job.
But there are some banks where you just know the banks are not going to, they don't. Some banks' credit policies and their scale of how they
The weights
use bonds
that-
and decline is different to each other.
Okay.
They also take into different contingency amounts. So they always some banks put a buffer on things. So you think you've got 7,000 rand surplus, but they've actually taken half of that as a buffer. You never know.
That makes sense in a way, hey?
Or some banks have got that, other banks don't. Some people see your full surplus as an available amount towards a bond repayments, some don't. They use a percentage of that towards miscellaneous or all sorts of things that could happen month to month,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
My child lost his whole uniform on the side of the field. That's 3,000 rand.
That sounds very, very familiar.
That's why you can't just, nothing's just black and white. And I say that in a good way, because if it's not just black and white, that gives me a bit of, I can work with the bank and I can work with you. But again, I cannot make a deal work if you do not have the funds. And if the bank are not going to cross the line of their credit policy, they won't. Especially if you only have one bank come back with 75% bond. And you don't have the money. I can't help you.
Exactly.
The bank have got the scale that they're working on. And
you're kind of a miracle worker, but you're not that good of a miracle worker.
Sometimes I am. But again, it comes to you get the strong jockey or the strong horse. The jockey is the client, the horse is the property. And the two, it's not always that you get, the bank are looking at the asset and they're looking at the client as the liability. So it's always in play, those two.
Yeah. I've got a question, but I remember when we were looking to buy a home, etc. We also kind of didn't really know what a bond originator does and what the process is, etc. And it was only my real estate agent at the time that said, I know of a bond originator. It's just someone that you talk to, and I will give you her details or your details to her, and you can just have a conversation. I remember she sent me quite a bit of documents to complete, etc. So what is your process at Phoenix Bonds?
So who in this room here has got time to go and consult with 4 or 5 banks to go and get a bond? Who's you here?
No.
Not me.
Me, no.
I do not even have time to pack a healthy lunch sometimes for my kids. Okay, now imagine trying to negotiate all the major banks, okay, forms, interest rates, credit policies, all sorts of things as one person. Wouldn't you rather have somebody do it for you for free?
You know all the little glitches of each bank.
With one document, I use one document and I submit it via a system, a link between us and the bank, and I'm the one who negotiates for you. And it's scary that people don't know that it's free. What I do is free, even your pre-qualification. You do not owe me anything. You sign a consent with me. I'm not allowed to share your information. Copy is a real thing. Okay?
Yes.
I'm not allowed to share your information. The consent is so that I can pull a credit report, which is your financial CV. I have to do it. I cannot accurately do a pre-qualification without that. Then what I do is phone the client. Who are you? Hi, make friends on the phone. It's a very quick friendship we've got to make on the phone now. We've got to make him trust me very quickly.
Yes.
I literally, depending on what the client wants, I can WhatsApp him the pre-qualification form and a list. I've got a quick set of things. So now he tells me he is self-employed. I've got a little quick set thing. I just WhatsApp it to him. Those are the documents I need, plus a 1-page pre-qualification form, which is the absolute basics. He can do it, sign it electronically, email it back to me. I then go and do the work. I go and do the work. That's the pre-qualification. Then the time comes and you are so happy because you're getting a 3.5 million bond, you put your offer in, and then the real work starts. Again, it's free. I'm not charging you. Even if you are declined, hopefully not, because I sit there like a machine. Again, it's free. And in some instances, me and the client are going to walk a long road together. I'm not just going to say, yes, decline, goodbye, sorry for you. You can't do that. This is a client who in 2 months' time or in 3 months' time could get an increase, could correct his credit score or whatever, and could then be a viable client. I have to then hold on to him and go, right, this is where you can better things. This is where you're going wrong or right. Or let's talk again in 6 months' time. I'm here for you. And follow up with him. And say, I'm so sorry about that, and unfortunately, but I can't help you. And let's talk. Let's see where we can. That's a future buyer.
Yes.
Everybody at some stage of their life wasn't looking good on their credit report. Everybody.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere.
You have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the best place to start is with a pre-qualification. And if I don't see something lacking on a pre-qualification, I'll be honest with you and say, listen, it's not even you won't even be able to buy a nice house. Or with the funds that you do have surplus, I think you actually need it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I really feel like if more people, if they get to a stage where they can see, okay, I think I've got enough surplus now to start thinking about buying a home. And then the first thing they do is go on Property 24 and all the different estate agencies, and they start looking what's out there in the market. But it's such a waste of time. I know it's an exciting time.
Oh, and it's so much information.
It's so much information, and then they actually don't even know what they can afford and what type of bond they'll get.
My advice would be, find an agent in your area who you can see they have good stock. don't try and throw yourself, all your pearls out to all these agents. You're going to get irritated. They're going to get irritated. You need to find a team, like you guys. You guys know. Every relationship that you're going to start with a new client, you have to, it's like a marriage. You
Yes,
need
that's
expectations. True. You need to be open with each other and be able to tell each other, I don't like that house that you showed me, I want something else. You can't, it's a home.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
And you also have to be able to tell them that area is not right for me, so that's important. One agent, maximum two. You're going to irritate yourself and you're going to irritate the agents. Tell them what your needs are, they will find you the property.
Yes.
And if the property is not out there now and you are spending hours and hours on end online, believe me, your property is not out there. Wait for it.
Yes.
Wait for it. Let the agents that you formed a relationship with find it for you. And that's what's so important. You can't just have a willy-nilly relationship with a million agents.
That's true, because none of them are actually going to go out and find you the right property. They're not going to do that trouble if they haven't built that relationship and know that you're actually...
The best thing we did with our agent when we moved here, and yes, it was for rental, but we only trusted one agent to find us a place. I wasn't going to go now. I have a job and I have a life. I can't. I need one agent who I have enlisted to find me my property. I trust her because of what she said to me and what I could say to her. We did that marriage thing that we would talk to each other and we got to know each other even over the phone. We opened a WhatsApp group with them, and every now and then she would send me this house, like that. Yes, no, yes, no.
Yes.
Yeah, that's...
Narrow it down. Otherwise you just get so overwhelmed and then it's too much information, and also areas and stuff. Be careful of the area. The home may be beautiful, it may be the perfect house for you.
But if the area is not great...
Go look at the properties and spend random times of your day at the property. You need to go and see, what does it look like at peak hour in the morning? What does the traffic run look like? Look in the afternoon. Look who's wandering in the property. What social events are happening in the area. You need to know those things. You can't just willy-nilly buy a house because this is a big investment.
It is a big investment.
20 years of your life. It is very important that you take into account those things.
If you could have a superpower in your daily job, what would that be? Not that you don't have superpowers already, but the one that you don't have.
Maybe, but the one, I would just have all the banks just come back within an hour with beautiful offers, good interest rates.
Yeah, you would
that
make
would
a
be
lot
easy.
of people happy.
Yes. You would make us happy as well.
The thing is, I love my job. It's nice to actually physically make it work and phone banks and phone bankers, and it is nice, but it's time consuming. And it can be difficult to manage sometimes, especially when you've got a lot of clients and stuff. This one's asking for this and that one's asking for that. Make everybody a homeowner, because I think it's such a... it's a living legacy. When I say living, you are living in your legacy.
That's
Most
true.
people, especially, the average South African, to have a home is most people's only retirement policy. That's scary. But it's also a place where you build memories, you have your babies, you see your kids grow up, you run your businesses from even now. Everybody's running a business from home. And that's personal. And so for me, I would love to make everybody a homeowner. But I think I can start by showing people it can be done. And even if you can't qualify now, you will be able to with my help.
Yes.
No, that
Sounds
amazing.
good.